Linda Little is widely regarded as the best employee at Preston Corporation. She is brilliant, hardworking, and always delivers exceptional results. Her direct manager, Donovan, is genuinely impressed by her latest report and openly praises her skills in front of the team. However, when it comes time for the important board meeting, Donovan refuses to let Linda attend. He promises her that he will make sure everyone knows the work is hers. But the moment the meeting begins, Donovan removes Linda's name from the presentation and takes full credit for himself. Frustrated, Linda tries to share her disappointment with a coworker, but she only comes across as awkward and weird. When other colleagues organize an office outing, she tries to join the conversation and tag along, but she is once again left out and ignored. At home, Linda's life is equally lonely. She has no close friends or family. All her vacation photos show her alone, and her only companion is her pet parrot. Despite everything, Linda remains remarkably positive. She truly believes that if she just works hard enough, success will eventually come. After all, the company founder himself once told her she was next in line for the vice president position. After dinner, Linda likes to unwind by watching episodes of Survivor. Her bookshelves and vacation photos clearly show her deep interest in survival skills and wilderness knowledge. The next day, everything changes. Bradley Preston, the spoiled son of the late founder, takes over as the new company president. Linda quickly hides her lunch and rushes to introduce herself, but she still has a smear of mayonnaise on her face. Bradley is visibly repulsed. She tries to make a nervous joke about shoes, which only makes the situation more awkward. Bradley quickly excuses himself and heads to his office. Once alone, he notices the mayonnaise on his hand and loudly complains about how disgusting Linda is. Executive Franklin informs Bradley that Linda was promised the vice president position by his father, but Bradley immediately decides to give the promotion to Donovan instead. Franklin desperately explains that the entire company depends on Linda's work and that even Bradley's father relied heavily on her. Bradley doesn't care. He wants her moved to another office so she can be kept out of sight. Franklin points out that they have a major merger meeting coming up in Bangkok, and Donovan cannot handle it alone, especially the complicated issue with Appendix D. Bradley finally agrees to bring Linda on the trip, but only so she can help Donovan in the background. She will not be allowed in any actual meetings. Later, Linda accidentally sees Bradley and Donovan fooling around together. A coworker casually informs her that they used to be fraternity buddies and that Donovan has now been promoted to vice president. Furious, Linda storms into Bradley's office and demands to know why she was overlooked. She points out that Donovan has only been with the company for 6 months, while she is given 7 years of loyal service. Bradley coldly explains that while Linda is excellent with numbers, she is not good with people. He needs someone who can charm a room and close big business deals. He also humiliatingly points out that she still has something on her teeth. As a compromise, he tells her she can join the Bangkok trip and solve the Appendix D issue to prove him wrong. When Linda tries to protest, Bradley ignores her and starts playing golf in his office. At that moment, Bradley's glamorous fiancée Zuri arrives. Linda notices her extremely expensive ring. As she tries to leave, Bradley casually mentions that people have been complaining about her eating lunch at her desk because of the smell, so she must now eat in the break room. This is a complete lie. He is the only one bothered by it. Linda walks through the office holding back tears, feeling every eye on her. She barely makes it to her car before breaking down. She tries to convince herself that she is enough, but the tears keep coming. On the morning of the trip, Linda arrives at the airport full of nervous energy. She proudly announces that she has solved the complicated Appendix D issue, but Bradley isn't paying attention. During the flight, Linda keeps working quietly while the guys fool around and drink. Donovan cruelly reveals that he found Linda's old audition tape for Survivor and plays it for everyone. The entire cabin laughs at her. Deeply hurt, Linda decides not to send her report with the solution. Suddenly, the plane shakes violently. The stewardess orders everyone to take their seats and fasten their seatbelts. Bradley and Linda immediately comply, but Bradley makes a cocky joke saying, "Only weaklings need seatbelts," so the others laugh and ignore the warning. When the plane starts shaking again, chaos erupts. Donovan and 2 other employees are thrown around the cabin. The plane catches fire and begins going down. The cabin wall breaks and the plane depressurizes. One employee gets sucked out, screaming. Donovan grabs Linda's leg and tries to take her seat. At the same time, another man clings to Bradley, who immediately pushes him off without hesitation. The man grabs Donovan's leg instead. Linda's glasses fly off and hit him in the face. Donovan keeps yelling at him to let go. The man bites Donovan's leg in desperation. Donovan responds by hitting him. Then Donovan grabs Linda by the throat and demands her seat again. In a moment of pure survival instinct, Linda grabs a fork and stabs Donovan's hand, forcing him to let go. Both men are sucked out of the plane. Donovan's tie gets caught, and his body keeps slamming against the broken glass. When he begs for help, Linda coldly closes the emergency window on him. After losing an engine, the plane crashes into the sea. Water floods the cabin rapidly. Linda holds her breath and struggles with her seatbelt. Once she frees herself, she swims desperately toward the surface, startled by the floating body of the stewardess. She screams underwater before breaking through to the open air. She is in the middle of nowhere. Soon, the plane disappears beneath the waves. The next morning, Linda wakes up alone on a beautiful but deserted island. She wanders around until she finds Bradley unconscious on the beach with a deep, nasty cut on his leg. Without hesitation, Linda gets to work. She uses rocks to create a sharp blade, gathers vines and branches to build a shelter, digs a hole, and uses coconut shells to collect rainwater. That evening, when it starts raining, Linda is safe and dry in the shelter while carefully tending to Bradley's wound. The next day, Linda drinks fresh water from a coconut. Bradley finally wakes up. She helps him drink too. He has a small emotional breakdown when he realizes no one else survived and genuinely thanks Linda for saving him. Over the following days, Linda works tirelessly. She makes fire, catches fish, and cooks them. When she offers some to Bradley, he refuses at first because of the smell. Linda forces the food into his mouth anyway. Bradley grows increasingly irritated that Linda hasn't built a distress signal or searched the wreckage for GPS equipment. He believes the priority should be getting rescued. Linda calmly explains that her priority has been keeping them both alive. When Bradley tries to stand, the pain in his leg is unbearable. Linda offers to help, but he snaps at her not to touch him and reminds her that she is still his employee. Frustrated, Linda picks up her things and walks away, leaving him alone. As hours pass, Bradley's arrogance crumbles. He becomes thirsty, hungry, and helpless. He finally realizes he cannot survive without her. That night, a strong wind destroys his makeshift shelter. The next day, the sun burns his skin and he passes out. Linda returns with water and tells him they are not in the office anymore. Things have changed. Bradley finally agrees. Linda continues teaching him survival skills. She follows boar tracks and builds a spear. Bradley mocks her, saying, "Linda from accounting can't hunt a boar." Linda immediately corrects him. She is from strategy and planning. She calls him out for lying about reading her work. In the woods, the boar suddenly charges and knocks her down. It gets stuck behind a fallen tree, giving her time to recover. The boar breaks free and charges again. Linda jumps from above and stabs it in the neck. The spear breaks, but she grabs the other half and stabs it repeatedly in the eye until it finally dies, covered in blood and mucus. Moments later, Linda proudly drops the boar's head in front of Bradley and announces that she likes hunting. That night, they both enjoy the fresh meat. Some days later, Linda discovers a beautiful waterfall and decides to shower. She hears a boat in the distance and rushes toward it, but stops herself when she realizes she is actually happy on the island. She returns to camp and continues teaching Bradley. The power dynamic has completely flipped. Linda is thriving while Bradley grows resentful. He secretly starts building a raft to escape alone. During a terrible storm, Linda saves him from a falling tree, and they hide in a cave. Bradley hugs her for warmth. The next morning, Linda wakes up alone. She finds Bradley trying to hunt, but failing miserably. Their camp is destroyed by the storm. Linda apologizes for building it too close to the shore. Bradley suggests they rebuild together on higher ground. Sometime later, they have a much better camp. Bradley thanks Linda for everything she has taught him. In the evening, he volunteers to cook and admits it is the first time he has ever done so. Linda starts feeling dizzy and collapses. Bradley had poisoned her food with bad berries. He runs into the woods and returns with a raft he had been secretly building. He paddles out to sea, proud of himself, and even flips Linda off as he leaves. But a series of waves destroys the raft and throws him back into the water. He starts drowning and hallucinates that his fiancée Zuri has come to save him, but she vomits on him. It turns out Linda, still sick from the berries, has rescued him and is performing CPR while vomiting on his face. The next morning, Linda feeds Bradley and explains that she needed to teach him he is no longer in control. Bradley starts feeling sick. Linda reveals she fed him a toxic octopus that paralyzes the nerves. He remains conscious but cannot move. Once he is fully paralyzed, Linda heats a knife and removes his clothes. She talks casually about her old dog that was fixed to make him more obedient. She lowers the knife toward his groin, making it look like she is castrating him. Bradley can only cry silently as blood splatters on his face. Then Linda pulls out a dead rat and reveals it was all a psychological trick to scare him. She warns him that next time it won't be a rat. Bradley eventually recovers, but remains distant and resentful. One day, while Linda is gathering fruit on the opposite beach, she is shocked to see Bradley's fiancée Zuri arriving on a rescue boat with a local captain. Zuri rushes to hug Linda and even remembers her name. Linda tells them Bradley is fine but secretly doesn't want the rescue to succeed. As she guides Zuri and the captain up the mountain toward the camp, she stops at a dangerous narrow path and pretends to tie her shoelaces. She tells them to keep going. Zuri slips and falls off the edge. The captain grabs her but asks Linda for help. Linda stands still and watches them both fall to their deaths. Linda returns to camp and sits on the shore, quietly dealing with her guilt. Bradley notices something is wrong and asks if she killed Zuri. He finds Zuri's expensive ring in the sand. Linda explains that Zuri slipped, but she didn't tell him because he wouldn't believe her. Bradley admits he doesn't believe her and brings up her dead husband. Linda reaches for the knife, but Bradley already has it. A brutal chase begins across the island. Bradley loses sight of her briefly. Linda jumps on him from behind and tries to choke him with her shoelaces. In the struggle, he drops the knife. Bradley pushes her off and rips skin from her head. Linda bites his shoulder and hand in return. He pushes his thumb into her eye. Linda grabs a rock and hits him in the head, stunning him. Mamushi smiles, shows him the ring, swallows it, and gives him the finger. Bradley tackles her again. They fight savagely until Linda stabs him in the stomach. He runs away toward the dangerous X-Rocks area. Bradley reaches the other side of the island and discovers it is not dangerous at all. There is actually a luxury vacation house hidden there. He breaks in, covers his wound, and drinks fresh water. He hears Linda's voice mocking him through the security system. He smashes one camera, but Linda still sees him. She admits she followed the rescue boat earlier, memorized the lock code, and broke in. She also confesses she caused Zuri and the captain to fall to their deaths. Bradley is cornered. Linda appears with a gun. In desperation, Bradley cries, apologizes, says he has changed, calls her the most amazing person he has ever met, and even claims he loves her. They could live happily together in the house. Linda says she loves him too, but then notices a missing horn on a helmet decoration and sees Bradley hiding something behind his back. Bradley attacks with the horn, making her drop the gun. He picks it up and tries to shoot her, but there are no bullets. Linda grabs a golf club and beats him to death. A year later, Linda is a successful, confident woman playing golf with celebrities. A reporter interviews her about her incredible survival story. She claims she was found alone on a raft in the middle of the sea and was the only survivor. She has written a best-selling book about her experience, which is being turned into a movie. She is now working on a self-help book teaching people how to save themselves. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this recap, please subscribe to the channel and enable notifications by clicking the bell icon. You can also explore more recaps by clicking on these videos.